Hi everyone, today we're going to do lesson 2 of unit F. We're going to be graphing other forms of a line, meaning forms other than y equals mx plus b. The first question asks us what we know about the equation 2y equals negative 6x plus 4. Right off the bat, we can notice that y is almost by itself. So it's almost in y equals mx plus b. It's just that there's a 2 out in front of that y. So to get it into the form y equals mx plus b, we can just divide every term by 2. This will result in y equals negative 3x plus 2. This means that what we know about this line is that we have a y-intercept of 2 and a slope of negative 3. The line will start at 2 and it will go down and have a negative correlation. Our second equation is in a form that makes it very helpful for us to find the intercepts. We can sub 0 in for x in order to find the y-intercept. We'll have 0 minus y equals 4, or y is equal to minus 4. This will be our y-intercept, so 0, negative 4 will be our y-intercept. We can find our x-intercept by subbing y as 0. This will give us x minus 0 equals 4, or x is equal to 4. So our x-intercept will be 4, or 4 comma 0. So what we know about this line is it's going to have a y-intercept of negative 4 and an x-intercept of 4. This means that our line is going to be having a positive correlation. This line is similar in that we will also be able to find the intercepts really easy from this form. We can sub 0 in for x to find the y-intercept, and that'll give us y is equal to 2. So we have a y-intercept of 2. We can sub 0 in for y to find the x-intercept. This will give us x is equal to 2. So our x-intercept will be 2 comma 0. Now that we have the two intercepts, we can imagine what they would look like on the graph. Each at 2 would give us a line that is going down or has a negative correlation. This question asks us to find the x and the y-intercepts of the line 3x plus 2y equals 6. Once again, we can sub our zeros in to find our intercepts. To find our y-intercept, we'll sub x equals 0. So we'll have 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 6, or just 2y equals 6. We can divide both sides by 2 to get a y-intercept of 3. So our y-intercept will be 0 comma 3. To find the x-intercept, we can sub 0 in for y. This will give us 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 6, or simply 3x equals 6. We can divide both sides by 3 to get an x-intercept of 2, or 2 comma 0. So our y-intercept is 3 and our x-intercept is 2. This is helpful in graphing the line because we can see that the line is going to have a negative correlation. Question number 5 is asking which form of the line we like better, y equals mx plus b form or ax plus by equals k form. The first form, y equals mx plus b, is useful to us because we know how to graph that. We can plot the y-intercept and then we can count our rise and our run or our slope m value to figure out the direction that the line is traveling and how steep it is. It becomes a bit difficult if we get an equation that's almost in y equals mx plus b, but not quite. For instance, if y hasn't been isolated, we might have to do some work in order to manipulate the equation so that y is isolated in order to be able to graph it. And that's where we might prefer the second equation. The second equation could be a situation where the equation is not solved for y equals mx plus b, something like 4x plus 8y equals 10. In this case, we could look at rearranging it to put it into y equals mx plus b, or we could find the intercepts. By subbing 0 in for the x value, we can find the y-intercept, and by subbing 0 in for the y value, we can find the x-intercept. In some ways, subbing in 0 and finding the intercepts can be a quicker process than having to rearrange an equation into y equals mx plus b and then graphing it. So which form we prefer might depend on what we're more comfortable with graphing. Do we like to graph y equals mx plus b, and are we okay with manipulating an equation to put it in that form if it's not already given? Or do we like to sub in zeros, find our intercepts, and plot those points? At the end of the day, it's a personal preference. Good luck to you as you work with other forms of the line and you practice both your algebra and your graphing skills.